There is an old rule in investing: diversify. Amazon appears to have interpreted that rule as, what if we simply buy a seat at every table, own the building, and charge everyone for electricity? This is the POO change, where we track the tiny shifts that quietly rearrange the future. Today's shift is not that Amazon made one enormous artificial intelligence bet. It is that Amazon is building a position where it may not need to guess which AI company wins. First, let's clean up the number, because $50 billion is large enough without giving it fictional friends. In a February filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission, Amazon disclosed two separate arrangements involving OpenAI. One was a $15 billion investment connected to OpenAI's current funding round, subject to closing conditions. The other was a separate commitment for as much as $35 billion. That second amount was not simply wired over with a note saying, "Have fun." Amazon can purchase some or all of those shares over time. The remaining commitment becomes mandatory if specified milestones are met or OpenAI completes a public listing, subject to the agreement's conditions. If it remains uninvested, the commitment generally expires by the end of 2028. So the accurate headline is not Amazon already handed OpenAI $50 billion. It is, Amazon put $15 billion into the current deal and created a path for another $35 billion. Apparently, $50 billion is what counts as hedging your bets now. But the OpenAI investment is only half the picture. Anthropic says Amazon invested another $5 billion in it, bringing Amazon's immediate Anthropic investment to $13 billion, with as much as $20 billion more possible. Anthropic also committed to spend more than $100 billion on Amazon Web Services technologies over the next 10 years. The agreement covers up to 5 gigawatts of new capacity and multiple generations of Amazon's own Trainium chips. 5 gigawatts is not a normal software subscription. It is industrial infrastructure wearing a chatbot name tag. Now step back. Amazon has money tied to OpenAI. It has money tied to Anthropic. It sells cloud capacity through Oz. It designs the Trainium chips Anthropic plans to use. It can distribute models through its own services. And it earns revenue when companies build products on top of that infrastructure. That creates a different kind of bet. The first phase of the AI race asked, which laboratory will build the best model? The emerging phase asks, who gets paid while all the laboratories compete? Amazon does not need every investment to become the single dominant model company. If OpenAI grows, Amazon can benefit from its financial and commercial relationship. If Anthropic grows, Amazon can benefit as both investor and infrastructure provider. If businesses use several models, Oz can still sell them compute, storage, networking, chips, and distribution. The familiar comparison is selling picks and shovels during a gold rush. But that is incomplete. Amazon is selling the shovels, renting the land, operating the general store, and buying pieces of several mines. This does not mean Amazon cannot lose. These commitments are immense. Data centers take years to build. Chips can become obsolete. Power is constrained. Customers can move between clouds. AI demand may grow more slowly than the capital spending assumes. And investments in competing companies can create awkward incentives. It also does not mean OpenAI and Anthropic are becoming the same company. They remain competitors with different products, governance, partners, and strategies. The point is narrower. Capital is organizing around the belief that advanced AI will become foundational infrastructure. That belief changes corporate behavior before anyone proves the final business model. Companies reserve power. They sign decade-long compute agreements. They build custom silicon. They invest across rival labs. They are no longer betting only on who wins the model race. They are betting that the race itself becomes one of the largest markets on Earth. And that brings us to the human question. If these systems create the productivity and wealth their investors expect, who receives it? Infrastructure owners are positioning themselves early. Model companies are raising unprecedented amounts of capital. Large customers may gain cheaper automation and new capabilities. But workers, small businesses, and the public do not automatically receive an equal share just because the technology becomes more capable. Technological abundance and broadly shared abundance are two different outcomes. The next signals to watch are concrete. Does Amazon complete more of the $35 billion OpenAI commitment? Does Anthropic actually consume Oz capacity at the promised scale? Do Trainium chips win meaningful workloads from NVIDIA? And does competition lower the cost of useful AI, or merely increase the cost of participating at the frontier? Here is today's prediction. Within the next 12 months, at least one major cloud provider will announce another multi-year AI infrastructure agreement worth more than $50 billion, and the announcement will combine compute access with either an equity investment or preferred model distribution. Because the new contest is not just to build the smartest model. It is to own the road every model has to travel. If today's change mattered, I'll see you tomorrow. The future rarely arrives all at once. It arrives point one at a time.